Our center is a place to help people start to discover who they are, and then at a later point, discover purpose, discover their role in that purpose. But we're at a stage right now, mostly building character, discovering healings, finding some peace, some grace. So that way, at a later stage, as we step in to our group power, we'll be better equipped. And so we have a multitude of different types of events here, focused on small ways of healings and ceremonies and all kinds of different ways to approach meditations. Because meditations isn't a thing you do, it's a state. And we also try to encourage everyone to share in different ways. And so we're kind of growing based on the different shares that people bring to the center. This event twice a month is building towards something else, or it's connecting up. It gets discovered as we build it out, in line with what we were talking about. So we introduce 2 new meditations each time. And we have a little bit of a talk going a little bit deeper into some of the concepts that we might cover at other events or ceremonies. So this is kind of a microcosm. We try to have a little bit of healing and opening up, and then also connecting into our souls. So we start with a couple mantras just to get aligned and expanded. And we pass the talking stick around a couple times. This is our talking stick for out here most of the time. Sometimes we have feathers or whatever. So that way you can add your medicine to the circle, or your wisdom, whether it be by sharing something or asking something, helping to pull things out. So that's generally what we're achieving here. So we thank all of you for being a part of it, whether it's your first time or whether it's beyond your first time. But we always start by just trying to check in with yourselves to see your state of being. So that way, as the evening goes on, you can notice, come on in, you can notice any subtle shifts. Because if you can notice those subtle shifts inside of you, as you connect more in with spirit, you can notice the subtle shifts in the spiritual messaging. Typically in one of them, we also bring in a little bit of a teaching or energy around the full moon. So tonight, since we're right around the time of the full moon that just passed, we'll talk a little bit about that. Sound good? We start with 2 mantras. You guys did a little bit of the breath, checking in. You don't have to know these 2 mantras, but you can still hum along or feel into it. The first mantra, we do in one breath, Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. It's an alignment between the outer creation and your creator within. And then the second one, Om Mani Padme Hum, is basically an expansion into consciousness, expanding your heart outward, aligning your head and your heart. So you guys ready? Take a deep breath in, bring your hands to heart center. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Open your hands up. Take a deep breath. Om Mani Padme Hum. Allow your hands to drop for a moment, entering into the earlier stage of meditation, which is concentration. So just look inward for a moment, pick a point, and try to keep your concentration on that point and nothing else. If you veer from that point, just consciously catch it and lovingly bring yourself back to that point. We're just going to do it for about 2 minutes. Keep recentering your focus. Just 30 more seconds. Om Vajaguru Bhama Siddhi 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 Om Vajaguru Bhama Siddhi. As you're ready, open your eyes. We're going to pass around the talking stick. At a minimum, please just share your name. If there's anything else you'd like to share, anything that brought you here tonight, anything you're feeling, dealing with, need help with, whatever it may be, feel free to share. And also feel free not to share. It's up to you. You'll have a couple opportunities to share throughout the night. Thank you everyone for sharing. We're going to drop into the first meditation in a couple minutes. So, in this stage of concentration that we're talking about, a lot of teachings have you just focus inward on something like the breath or whatever, because what you're trying to do is just develop the discipline of mental control. And for some people, they think that means controlling their mind. It's the actual mental control is the allowing the soul energy to come through and focus on that, not the thinking mind. The thinking mind can still be doing whatever it wants, but what happens is you, based on your intention and your attention, you build forms, and then based on those forms, consciousness and the soul lovingly brings you into different experiences. And so that's the kind of the first stage, that it's very, very, that idea isn't to master it, but is to try to bring it into a habitual form to where you can keep returning to it. Do you see? You're still going to get distracted, but how quickly can you keep returning back to what the thing is that you're directing your energy towards, rather than all the rest of the noise around you? How can you steady your vibration? And that steadying the vibration starts with understanding where you're at along the path and authentically who you are. Because you got to know the starting points to build from. And then you take who you are out into the world. And that is the beginnings of true soul purpose, is just being who you genuinely are. That's self-love, to where you're not so swayed by others' impacts, others being how they look at you or how they respond to you, how they approve of you or reject you, those kinds of things. For some people, the concentration can be a little bit easier if you have something outside of you, an object that you are strongly associated with, that brings in a certain energy for you. It could be a verse from the Bible or Quran or whatever. It could be a statue of a person or entity that helps bring things in for you, certain energies. You see, it could be a crystal. It could be anything, but you learn to concentrate on that because it has a certain energy. Where you strengthen it, though, is if you can have a visualization of something that's a neutral object. So maybe you just concentrate on a simple symbol, and you try to really focus on that symbol so much to where you can see it very, very clearly inwardly at first, and then later outwardly it appears. But that's the stage of concentration that you're learning to do. With that concentration, it makes it a little bit easier for you to have peace within your emotional body. Because the stirrings can still happen, but you're no longer as swayed by those stirrings. And so we'll get a little bit into that tonight with the discussion of the full moon. This first meditation is a pretty basic but profound meditation. All that we're going to do is go into our meditative state. And I'm going to say a few different seed phrases. And then you can just see if you want to let that phrase sit in you, be planted in you, grow in you, or doesn't resonate, and you just let it go. It's all right. But just try to explore each little phrase. We'll just do each one for 30 seconds to a minute. See how it sits, see how it feels, see how it perceives. And then we'll move to the next one. Sound good? Is everyone ready? So take a moment to get into your meditative state, or set your energetic fields, whatever it may be for you. Releasing any tension, Try to release any energies that might distort the purity of these phrases. And here we go. I recognize the power and strength of my being. I affirm gratitude to all light bearers. I affirm love to all I encounter. Help me to fully awaken. Help me to inspire others in truth. Open the sacred way for all to walk in the light. I am worthy of love, support, and gratitude, and I will openly share and accept each. I am worthy of love, support, and gratitude, and I will openly share and accept each. I stand ready for the overshadowing of Christ consciousness. I recognize the power and strength of my being. I affirm gratitude to all light bearers. I affirm love to all that I meet. Help me to fully awaken. Help me to inspire others in truth. Open the sacred way for all to walk in the light. I am worthy of love, support, and gratitude, and I will openly share and accept each. I stand ready for the overshadowing of Christ consciousness. And as you're ready, slowly begin to bring yourselves back to the teepee. Notice any shifts in your energy. Any subtle shifts in your bodies. Any subtle shifts in your feelings, your perspectives. Where you're putting your attention as the evening continues on. I'm going to pass around the stick again since we have a small group tonight and just see if anything came up for any of you during that meditation. What you're learning to do is to be consciously engaging what comes up to you in the present moment instead of subconsciously putting a lot of stuff onto the present moment, and it makes it so complex. With all the lessons that you've learned on how are you supposed to interact with people, or how do you get accepted, or, you know, when I hit this energy, that means I need to clean because I need to wipe this stuff off. There's all kinds of different psychological things. You see? Letting go of some of that stuff because it was never you. It was just experiences that you attuned to. You see? But most of us spend most of our lives reliving the first 7 years of our life when we developed a physical consciousness that told us how to interact with the world, how to be accepted, how to be listened to, how to be appreciated, and those kinds of things. But as you clear some of that stuff off, and you learn to step into that meditative theta state, you can learn how to bring in new gifts, new approaches, a new way of looking at the world. It's hard to do when you're so caught up in it, because you take so much ownership, you attach to it so strongly. You make it your truth. And so as long as you make it that way, it's going to stay that way. So often people have some type of physical ailment and it's hard for them to heal because they attach it to something physical. Man, I know it was because of this car wreck. That's why it happened. The car wreck manifested because of energy behind it. The physical world is an effect, it is not a cause. Do you see? But as long as you keep adding stories to it, as long as you keep adding facts and colorations to it, then God bless. Love it. But I'm just trying to say that you don't have to make the healings so drawn out. You don't have to understand it with the thinking mind. Understanding is what's standing under. The thinking mind is very powerful and very important, but it's also a separator. It's hard to connect with things and really see the bigger pictures of the lessons if you're going to only use your analytical mind. You're working with two hands tied behind your head and a blinder on. You see? Okay. We're going to drop into the second meditation. Close your eyes, get comfortable. Feel free to lay back if you like. We'll go a little bit deeper in this one. Allow yourself to be guided. Calling in your guide, your true self, your support system, whatever it may be. Don't worry about following my words. Doesn't come naturally, that's all right. Don't worry about visualizing or any of that stuff. Just allow it to awaken. Allow the lines and the expansions to happen naturally. First, we're going to do a few breaths. You can choose nose or mouth. What we're going to do is breathe in a subtle light. Then hold it for a couple seconds. And then breathe out the dense fog. Try that. Imagine, feel, visualize. Whatever it is, sense. Breathe in the subtle light. Breathe out the dense fog. Go through that a few times. Breathe in the subtle light. Breathe out the material weight. Nice and rhythmically. However long you breathe in is the same amount of time you breathe out. You can choose the length. Breathe in the subtle light. Breathe out emotional confusion. Breathe in subtle light. Breathe out the stories and judgments. Breathe in the subtle light. Breathe out forgiveness. Sit in the natural presence of your authentic being with purity, stillness, and silence. Allowing your breath to settle. Feeling a light above your head. Bringing that light down in to align with your being. Now allow your light to expand out to this teepee. Visualize it, feel it, sense it, whatever it is. Have faith. Allowing it to fully blend and circulate as our energies unite to one collective beam of light inside of this teepee. Now that you're attuned to the light, listen for any symbols to come through. approach to finely tune to the higher consciousness is in pure giveaway. So start to build an energy up, circulating in a counterclockwise direction around this teepee. Allow it to keep circling, gathering the energy, circling, building up the speed, frequency of that vibration of light, and in pure giveaway, lovingly send it out to anywhere in the world without trying to control the outcome. Send it out and share it. Blessed be. Through that giveaway, that finer attunement, see if anything new comes in for you. And slowly make sure you're back in your bodies. But what you might notice as you align and attune to these energies inwardly, it's a little easier to radiate peace and joy. Peace in the emotional body, joy in the mental. Matters not. It's just a natural radiation. And as you're ready, wiggle the toes, adjust the hips, coming back to the circle, bringing back your light into your own heart center, making sure that your heart center remains pure, clear, and without any other strings. Sealing it off. These are, of course, meditations that you could try on your own at home. If you want to bring one of them into your practice, to play around with it for a few months, that is up to you. We keep them shorter here, given our time constraints. So we apologize for having to take you through these things in such a short impact of time and space. Opening up the circle to any of you while the body is relaxed, but allowing the mind to come alert. If any of you would like to join, closing out the circle, thank you, thank you, thank you. If any of you would like to join,